Living in your truth. I love that video. Hello, everybody. I'm Andrea Gewritz of Wellbeing and Worth, and I am so delighted to be back in the fold with MinkLife Motivation Live today. And I am joined by some amazing ladies. I am honored to be co-hosting with Kim Downey. She is new to me, so she gets to go first and answer our first question because she's all about feng shui. So should be good. I'd like to ask you the question: how has living in your truth helped you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Hi, thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm glad to be here. So, how has living my truth helped me on my entrepreneurial journey? So, yeah, I would say that I practiced feng shui in my own life for the last 20 years, and life is always challenging. And every time I move or new things in life, transitions in life come up, and I put feng shui in place, I find more energy, I'm calmer, I attract more opportunities in my life. But it helps me to, on my entrepreneurial journey, to help understand my clients and what their needs are. So it's very individualized. You can sit down, you can read a book on feng shui, but having been trained in it, experienced it, and many years, I can see things a little bit differently, more in depth now. And especially having my own life challenges. Just recently, having my own house with different things breaking in it and having to figure out how to work with that energy.
Right.
And then it seems to kind of pop up a couple of weeks later that a client may be having a similar issue. So, yeah, just really practicing what I preach.
I love that. And I can't wait for us to dig in more to understand that a little bit more. So, our next co host is my friend, Denise Belisle. I think I said that right. I'm trying. She's a the expert. So, hey, Denise, how are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you for being here. So, living my truth helped me being more like I'm a serenity expert. So, living serenity and experiencing serenity in my home, in my heart, in the people around me, always going back to putting myself first and taking care, take self care. I think all these things help me portray an image to my clients that serenity is the key number one in order to have a better path in your own life. If you are, for the entrepreneur, if I work with on a business level with someone, well, it's not to get so stressed out over what they do and see the path ahead as being clear, as opposed to, oh my God, I have so much to do, I don't know how I can resolve all these problems. But when living my own truth, I show them that when you are more serene, when you say, and that's my motto, it's all good. So when you say it's all good, then you stop stressing out over things and you have a much more open mind to what's ahead of you. And what about the thing of the past? Well, you forgive and forget the thing of the past and you move on and you learn from your experience. So this is how I live my life and this is how I bring it to my own clients.
I love that. Just talking, you seem more serene. So I love the question too. As I reflect on my own business evolution and journey, I think because of my circumstances, like living in my truth, needing to find solutions originally for my children per se, because of food allergy and things like that, I had to get really curious about food and nutrition. So, as that curiosity grew and as my need to know more grew, I just sought my solutions. And so that was living in my truth, was to sort of test, solve, and resolve things as it related to food allergy and gut microbiome issues and things like that. So I think for most entrepreneurs, and you guys can chime in too if this isn't true, is that you saw a problem. I saw a problem. And therefore I had to reach out and create a solution. And by doing that, just like Denise said, I started to model it and be sought after for those things. So of course, the entrepreneurial journey flowed from that. So it's really exciting to be both with both of you because we are all probably products of having an issue and needing to resolve it. So this is really juicy stuff. So let's see what our next question will be. Is oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to invite the people in the audience to. Don't forget, you are part of this audience too. You're part of the participants of this conversation because hear what you're thinking too. So put your comments wherever you're listening from in the chat, and we will feature you here in the conversation because this is what we do here: is bring people together to learn, share, and to connect on things that matter to them in life and business. Alrighty, so we are moving right along, and we are going to get motivated with this idea of living in your truth. So I'm going to start with Denise because you were second last time. You get to be first this time. Why is it important to live in your truth?
Thank you for that question. It is completely important to live in your truth. And why? Because when we don't live in our truth, we live in a lie. And when you live in a lie, it's a lot harder to remember a lie than to remember the truth. Because the truth is the truth. It's something you have experienced. It's something you have lived through. It's something that it's ingrained in your brain and into your body. So living in your truth, it's something that will come naturally, something that will be easier. There will not be a learning curve. There will not be having to remember how you act in certain situation. Because I have met people that when you meet them online, they are a certain persona, they are a certain way of being. And I met them in person and they're totally different people. I
Hmm.
mean, like, who are you? Like, that's not the person I met behind a screen. So it's important that for me, I'm totally transparent. Like, if I'm okay with making mistake, I'm okay with being perfect, quote unquote, and when I make mistake, I say, wow, I laugh at it because it's like, hey, I'm just me. That's me you're meeting. So I'm living my truth. And when people interact more with me on one-on-one, then they realize that the person they've seen on the screen, like the one you're seeing there, like this one here, then you see that that person is actually the one that if we meet, either like in one-on-one conversation or in person, I'm the same person. So that's why it's important. It's more integrity and easier to remember who you are if you live in your truth.
For sure. I love that. The person you meet will be the same. Absolutely. I think some of us take that for granted, but it's true in the new VRL. That's the virtual real life, because this is what we're in right now. Um, yeah, we might have been called to make some poorer decisions about living in our truth because there's these screens and there's all this activity like connecting through a screen. So I hear you on that. And I think it's a problem with our young people, right? Because it's a question that they haven't been able to fully flesh out because they're in real life time and their virtual time are flipped from what our experience would be. So now, Kim, I'd love to know why it's important to live in your truth from like your perspective and also as a feng shui person.
Yeah, this is a really good question. And this is something that I really struggled with in the beginning because when you hear feng shui, you have this idea of calm all the time and everything in place, and there's no clutter and there's harmony. And yet, feng shui is really about the yin and the yang and embracing that there's no perfect day where everything is going to be in harmony or your home is always going to be in harmony. There's always going to be dishes, there's always going to be some clutter. And at first, I really felt this like, oh, I have to have everything perfect in my life in order to teach other people about feng shui and to help other people. And I found that the more I lived in my truth and allowed people to understand that look, my home isn't perfect. I have 2 cats. I have a dog. I have 2 kids. I have a husband. Things, life doesn't always deliver you everything perfectly. So feng shui is about taking those hard times or taking things that are a little bit more chaotic, and how do we make our environment more peaceful? How do we make it flow more for our personal routines, for our family's routines? So really kind of being open and honest with people about my own home, and then how I use feng shui. And then also that allows them to really feel more comfortable with me, sending me pictures of their clutter, their things that are going on, and how we can make things more beautiful for them in their lives.
Oh, I love that. Oh, you girls are so excited. Excuse me, you ladies. I shouldn't tell you girls. I hate when people do that. But you ladies are warming my heart today when I think about the balance. I don't like to say balance because people think of only two things when there's balance. So your point about the yin and the yang, because people, it's not like a half, it's a curve, it's to show, and I say this to my clients too, that it's to show that we have to harmonize the things around us, that we have to harmonize our heart, our minds, our bodies, our careers, and things like that. Because when we say to busy women listening out there that you have to put everything in order and balance things, we cause even more resistance into our bodies, our minds, and our souls. And we feel compelled sometimes to create, to Denise's point, this persona. And when that persona cannot be kept up, what happens to most high achieving, or just anyone achieving really? We feel we have, quote, failed. And so living in your truth really requires you to point your compass and really define those things that matter to you so that you can live in your truth. I think about the term imposter syndrome, and we're like flinging this around, and our kids are too involved with social media. We're so involved with social media. And to Denise's point about, oh my goodness, the person you meet versus the person that's on the persona on the screen. And we have to ask ourselves, where does our heart lie so we can feel, to both of your points, authentic and in integrity and harmonized. So I love that I got to be here in the cosmic world of working with, like, listening to you guys and talking about how our work really does influence people to reach for that harmony. And whatever that looks like, we get to accept and we get to sort of embrace as our truth. So what a lovely question. And I love both of your answers so much. And I'm so glad to be back too. So let's see. I think we are going to stay inspired. I love this format. I've been gone. So I'm like, okay, what's the next part again? I kind of know, but so if you see me a little hiccup, but I love this part about staying inspired. This is one of my favorite segments of this show. And this question, ladies, we get to really dig in right now, because how does a lack of understanding your truth affect the way you move through life and business? So I'm going to point this back to Kim, because I'm looking forward to your response in terms of a lack of understanding really does show up in a lot of ways, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I think the first thing that pops into my head is avoiding.
Mm-hmm.
When I don't want to, you get really caught up in things and you start avoiding things, and the energy is still going to keep pushing on you until it hits you over the head and things end up not going so well. So, for example, through a feng shui perspective, in your office, if you have things that you keep tripping over and you're ignoring and you're not paying attention to, eventually you could really hurt yourself, or it's slowing you down, or you're late for a meeting. So yeah, I think it's really important to slow down and to listen and to pay attention and not to avoid things that feel uncomfortable.
I love that. And I'm so glad I picked you first, because avoiding is a big thing that creates that resistance. So that's where Denise comes in about bringing serenity and the concept of it. So I would love for you to add on to that, Denise, about how avoiding your truth might affect you in life and business.
Hmm. The way I saw that, I heard that question, and I imagine the answer is, when we know what are our values and what are our mission, if we have a mission statement and a vision statement, then when you have all that aligned and you do that on a regular basis, because that change, like our value could change over time, or sometime we change path and our mission can change. But then you're aligned. When you are aligned with all of that, what it allows you is to fully integrate yourself in your life and into your business. And when you make a decision that is not aligned, or if you have to make a decision and you analyze the pro and the con, and you see that it's not aligned with what you want in your value and in your mission, then the decision of doing it or not is simple. Then you go with your truth, because when you know your values, you can decide then, no, that's not aligned with my value. I don't want to do that. Then the decision is very simple. So you live in more integrity, you live in more truth, because you think about it. You don't just make a decision because, oh, that's a great opportunity, I'll jump on it. But then later on you realize that you are not living your truth. You're not living in alignment with what you want in life and who you are, and you feel uncomfortable, you're not happy, you're miserable, you live with stress and all that. So that's why, check your mission statement, your vision statement, and align yourself with your value, and live in integrity with that, and life will be amazing.
I love that. I knew you. So good, so good, so good. Uh, the decision is simple when it's aligned with your values, and the resistance comes when we can't either find the values, we
Mhm.
can't define our mission statement, even for our lives. It's funny, as a Thrive strategist, one of the things I have had to rephrase, because working with business people, you can say mission statement, they get it. But when you're working with people outside that are
Mhm.
employees or doing work for another person, and you're like, well, mission statement's not going to resonate with them. And so one of the ways, if you're listening and you're like, well, I'm not a business person, and she kept saying mission statement, it probably brought up some resistance right there, right? I would say is like, what is your purpose here on this planet? Like, what
Mhm.
would make you aligned and feel good about showing up every day for your friends, your family, even at your job? And that really, in the business world, is a mission statement. so, in so they're the same thing. So, seeking purpose and really aligning yourself with your purpose makes that path of life so much easier. And I
Mhm.
know, as a Thrive strategist and as a serenity expert, both of us are really wanting you to lean into that. And it's all about the lack of avoidance, right? It's the resistance. Avoiding keeps you away from finding that purpose, finding that passion,
Mhm.
defining the mission statement. So it is in earnest, I would say, is that you have to keep on keeping on to find that for yourself. So the next segment is, I get really riled up when I talk about that. So the next segment is, let's keep networking. Let's keep networking. And if you're like, I don't need to network about this. Yeah, we do. It's like, who should you ask for help? And you're trying to improve your life. Well, I'm surrounded by two lovely experts in various aspects of life curation. So I'm going to ask Denise, because she was the last to speak, to like sort of follow up on that. How would people approach improving their lives, and who do they need to know?
Well, me.
I kind of threw you that, yeah, yeah.
but in reality, it's important that to reach out, regardless whether it's me or you, like any other coaches. And it's important to know the things we've talked about today, because that's what will bring you happiness. That's what will bring you serenity in your life. That's what will bring more joy. Because once you really know who you are, once you really know your value and what you stand for, and what's important in your life, because we all have values. Sometimes we don't know how to call that, but if you think that your family is the most important thing in your life, that's a value. Family is a value. So reach out to people and seek help, just to align yourself with all of that, the mission statement, which is the purpose, and the vision and all that. And just knowing that, you will have so much more clarity in your life, and you'll be able to move forward and feel so much happier, just by really understanding the things that are not making you happy, and say, why is that making me sad or angry? Well, that's not aligned with your value. So it's not your truth. You're not living in your truth. So I think that's the main thing, to really reach out,
Yep.
find professional that will assist you into doing that. And there's an array of people in the world. I'm one of them. But there's ways to do that.
Thank you, Denise. And there's absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, Kim, what would you add to that? Who should people look to network with or get to know to sort of influence this part of their life? There's my dog.
Yeah. I definitely find it helpful to just journal and write down, what is it that's going on in my life right now that I need help with. And that could be anywhere from, I need somebody to help with my landscaping, or I need help with getting airline tickets. Like, it can even be just on a daily basis, just taking note of, where am I stuck in my life right now? Where could I use that added help? And then a lot of times when we start writing that down and opening up to it, that synchronicity starts to happen, where you meet someone and they say, oh, I have the perfect person. And I think it's really important to, how we were talking about living in your truth. Living in your truth means not being embarrassed that you need help. We all, in order to grow, need help. And one part of your home actually has a helpful people area in feng shui, and it's my favorite part to work with, because a lot of times, especially as business owners, we don't want to necessarily ask for help. We want to feel like we're the expert, that we know everything. So I really do think talking to friends, talking to just talking. It could be at a party, talking to people, letting them know what help you need, and it'll open up for you.
I couldn't agree with you, either of you, more. And the thing I want to add is, like, the first point, the first place to go is, am I sad?
Mhm.
I what is driving this? Get really curious about that discomfort you're
Yeah,
feeling.
I
And
agree.
because sometimes we wait until it's really bad, the discomfort. So being curious ahead of time, like being curious in the moment, like, I'm not feeling good here. So then you could journal about it to sort of start to work about it. I love that, because journaling is a big part of what I help people really embrace as a way to, like, call a response with themselves, like, I have this problem, so that the energy will come in and actually arrive to them to do what? Seek help. Find someone, ask someone, to Denise's point about, this is really bothering me. Who do you know who? Or who can help me with my landscaping? Who can help tune up my house? These are things that come once you realize, oh, things are not right. And it's, again, answering that. Peggy's so funny in the comments writing about maps and mirrors. It is so true. This curiosity about um, seeking it and wanting it and embracing it, regardless of the outcome, because we're so wed to, like, the positive outcome. We need to just be okay with the outcome and the curiosity of, how can I move this can down the road. So thank you both. That was awesome. And I love that Cindy, hey Cindy, I haven't talked to you forever. I love that, not being embarrassed about needing help. As humans, we are communal beings. We need our village. It is so true. And she's part of my village from way back in the day of me embracing California as my new place. Welcome, Cindy. So glad you could bring that to the table here. Oh, my heart. And, that's what we do. We do a lot of village here, because this is a beautiful village. I think that leads into the whole village aspect of why MinkLife Motivation is here, what we do, and why we connect things like that. So, we're going to wrap this up by gaining some knowledge. I'd love a final thought. I'd love a tip. We're the tip queens here at MinkLife Motivation Live on like you all have given so many good nuggets, but what's your final tip, Kim, for living in your truth or finding a way to calibrate living in your truth?
Ooh, that's a deep one. I think my final tip for living a truth is being okay that we're not perfect and to keep seeking out ways to improve ourselves. Like we talked about, networking with other people who can help us on that journey. And just really being truthful with yourself and opening up and just feeling good with that.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. So now, Denise, take us home. What would you say is your final tip for living in your truth? It's going to be good, I know.
It is, don't sweat on the small stuff. And even sometimes small stuff might seem big to you. So I go back to my it's all good cup. Whatever happened in the past, you can't change it. And what's going to happen in the future, you can't predict it. So it's all good. Live in the day, live in today, live in the present, and just appreciate where and who you are right here, right now. And that would be your truth.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I just want to say thank you because, you guys have both been here doing great and awesome. And I think two things came up for me. It's okay not to be perfect. That was one of the things I would have said. The whole thing about I am where I am, and that's okay, like Denise said. And the last thing is that I want to add to all of that is you can. You can affect the outcome for whatever it is that you want. And being that curious, just saying, I can create what I want. I can do this and I shall. So, being that, just remembering that is a key to action. So, all right. Well, I bet we have a whole bunch of things to do for announcements. And I'm going to start off with the ladies in the community. So, Kim, why don't you tell us how we can work with you or get to know you better? Like, what's going on in your world? Tell us about you. Like, how can we support you?
Definitely. Thank you. You can anyone can reach out to me via my web, likelifefengshui.com, and you can send me an email and we can set up a 30-minute free consultation. We can talk about your home or your office, just where you're feeling stuck, and we can see if it would be a good match for you.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And then next up, I'm going to ask Denise, how can we find you? What do you got going on? What's happening in your world?
Well, I would be happy to help you find your values and help you really find your why and your purpose. And then that will help you definitely living more in your truth. So book an appointment with me. It's calendly.com. And then guess what? Serenity Expert. And then you can book a call with me. I'll be more than happy to talk it through, to help you find those nuggets in your life that will make you shine and make you rock your life.
Awesome. Awesome. And someone added somewhere in the universe listening out there, they were like, hi, Denise, Belisle. I love listening to this live because everything you talk and share is true. Cheers.
Thank you.
So couldn't have a better, amplification of what you're
Testimonial.
doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. It's so good. And so, you know what, you guys, I am a Thrive strategist. It's a big acronym, and I would love to talk about helping you in my business, thrive. And that is really about defining living in your truth and figuring out that purpose and passion and aligning your mind, body, and spirit. So that's the essence of a Thrive call. If you're curious, it's free. It's 30 minutes. And that's the best way to reach me right now because I've got some new things coming down the road. So that's a way to get firsthand knowledge of what's happening. And then I get the pleasure of talking about what's happening in the Mink universe. We apparently are having a conference tomorrow, London time. It's starting tomorrow. And it is a power-packed 2 days of panel discussions, really wonderful workshops and training and breakout sessions. And you're going to meet thought leaders like Kim and Denise from around the globe participating in tomorrow's conference. So if you want more details, go to www.net, not net, nextglobalvirtualconference.com to get all the details and to get a ticket. And then, of course, we just want you to come on into the community, because the Mink community has a lot of things going on. There's Mingle. This is an online group chat think space where we connect and we share, we train, we ask for help, we collaborate, all online in our own special Mingle community. We also have the Minkubator, which is like our, it's our virtual VRL work sharing space. Or like if you went to back in the day, gosh, isn't that funny? What do you call it? Not WeChat. Oh my goodness, I'm having a senior moment. WeWork. When people go to WeWork and collaborate, well, we do it all online twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon. So definitely plug into and figure out if you want to know more about that. That is a great place to incubate your thoughts, improve them with other people. A lot of good things have come out of the Minkubator, like this whole conference and this whole thing. And so you're here with the live show. Tune in twice a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays in the morning, Thursdays in the afternoon. That's right. They're doing one tomorrow, and they're going to start the show London time. So power pack time for MinkLife is busy, busy, busy. All of this is put into a podcast in various bits and pieces. So if you want to know from our thought leaders or hear more of this show and the archives of the show, please check out our podcast. And last but not least, we have an e-publication where members are featured and they contribute to talk more about their business and collaborate with each other around the globe. So we are over here wanting to embrace any entrepreneur, even people who want to be entrepreneurs, to come into our communities and grow and explore with us. So I do believe I've gotten all of those things in. I want to thank you, ladies, for being here and making this a power pack 30 plus minutes, just by a little bit. It's been a pleasure to be connected to you and to know more about what you do. And so with that, I thank you both and say goodbye, everybody. See you next week with more Power